before we go to Forest, we have Man United away on a Thursday night, Glenn. Whenever do we have Premier League football on a Thursday night other than Christmas?
I'll give up with it. I'll just totally give up with the scheduling of games these days and the kickoff times and all that rubbish. But yeah, Thursday night in Manchester. Well, that'll be lovely, won't it? Yeah, I mean, up until United have had a couple of decent results recently. Obviously, knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup, but they equally, from what I've seen, could have lost that game quite comprehensively.
Oh, they got battered, absolutely battered.
If Arsenal had taken their chances and Kai Havertz was a footballer, they could have lost that game quite comfortably. They put in a decent performance against Liverpool the previous week. So the criticism of them is that they can do it when they want to. Obviously, they won that game at Manchester City a few weeks ago. They can kind of do it when they want to and get the results. And it's been a thing with United for a while that it always seems to be more down to individual players. Coming up with the goods. They never seem to play that well in any of these games. But I mean, the goal they got against Arsenal was, I can't stand Bruno Fernandes, but that was a fantastic finish that he put in for that goal. And so again, it's another game where they will be seeing it as a big chance to make a statement against one of the lesser lights of the division, and that's us, of course. So they will be looking to win this game comfortably. There will be an expectation from their supporters and all the tourists to win this game comfortably. So we have to go there and make it difficult for them. He seems to be Amorim seems to be sort of like he seems to have settled with a team now. So you would think that they would only get better from here on in. So he's had experiments using the likes of Casemiro and Eriksen in midfield, and now he seems to have settled on Kobe Mainu and Ugarte, or whatever his name is, the new midfielder they've got.
Yeah, I do find it baffling that you can kind of go from the first pairing to the second pairing and sort of still have a conscience of why you even put those first two together at any stage, let alone against anybody good.
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar to what we're doing. I mean, they play the same formation as us, basically. It's sort of 3-4-3. And those, as we know, those two central midfield players are absolutely pivotal to how the whole thing works. So, they picked up a few. Diego Dalot got sent off, didn't he, yesterday? So I don't think he'll be available. Assuming, FA Cup sending offs count in the league as well. I think they do.
Straight
it was a 2 yellow job.
Oh, well, that still counts, rather than the accumulation.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
But also, I don't know if there's going to be any comeback because there was a big sort of 22-player sort of handbag session in that game as well. And there was some very dubious behaviour by Martinez and Ugarte. So it'd be interesting to see whether they... whether there's any sort of
getting involved in on-pitch brawls, surely some
unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable, but it'll be interesting to see if there's anything that comes of that in terms of extra bans and whatnot. Because there was no VAR at that game, which is probably why they got away with it. So, So all in all, we've got to go there and have a go. At the end of the day, keep it tight, but keep a threat at the top end of the pitch, and that's what it's an opportunity for Mr. Sulemana to do it in a league game at a big ground. And good luck to him. I think our team is taking shape now. Flynn Downs obviously isn't going to be back, so it's going to be Joe Aribo and Leslie Ukachukwu in the middle of the team. And
if Flynn is back, do you think he comes straight in for Joe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think so.
Joe Aribo looked decent yesterday, but it's levels of opposition, isn't it? He's struggled every game he's played in the centre of midfield in the Premier League, really. So certainly in the last few weeks. So I would think Downs.
Sorry, go on, Glenn.
No, that's okay. No, I would think Downs would come back in if he's fit. I think Ryan Manning will start, and it's just the case of who that third centre back is for me. But
will be interesting to see. Steve, we haven't won there since 2016. Am I right in saying?
Sounds about right. Was that the Charlie Austin one?
Charlie Austin, it was the last time we won there. It was a long time ago, isn't it? Long time ago. Do you think there's an opportunity to try and build on that FA Cup win from the weekend? Do you think that will give us a little bit of momentum going into it? Or
it should do, but I do think that the way that the cup games are treated, I do think there is a natural kind of compartmentalization now, where mentally players don't really kind of take cup and league form as kind of one thing. They're built up very differently. Obviously, the team rotates heavily for the cup games. So when you see the team sheet, when you see that 11 written up on the board, presumably like a day or two beforehand, where they're sort of training in formation and working on specific things for that game, you know who's in the 11 more or less. And I think when you see 5 or 6 changes, there is just that natural tendency to not quite take it quite so seriously.
Because obviously Saints didn't do that, Steve. They only made 2 changes. I think both of those might actually end up staying in the team as well. So do you think that with that, maybe it doesn't give them any forward momentum because things are so bad, but does it at least stop the backwards roll that they were on from Brentford? You know, the fact is it will be the same team, I think, on Thursday.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, proof of the pudding will be in the eating, of course, but I mean, we've seen this this group of players mentally disintegrate under the slightest bit of pressure before. So I'm not gonna stand here and say, oh, they've turned a corner by smashing Swansea again. But it's I mean, it'll be interesting to see which of the players can carry a good performance forward. I mean, Glenn mentioned earlier about players not being able to string sort of 2 or 3 performances together. I mean, this is your kind of shop window for that sort of thing, isn't it? You go to Old Trafford, but it's not as tough a place to go as it used to be. That's for sure. But when you're a club with 2 points away from home all season, every away game's tough. So yeah, we go there with nothing to lose other than respect again. But it's I think there's a case for people sticking their hand up and saying, yeah, I actually fancy more of these sort of occasions. So let's see what we can scramble together between now and May. But I think realistically we're probably not expecting much. But you know that if United, I mean, you know that United are more than capable of throwing in an absolute stinker. And if they do, you've got to be on the sort of on the lookout and ready to take advantage. But yeah, we'll see.
Score prediction, Steve. What's your thoughts?
Oh Christ, could be anything. I mean, United haven't really been creating that much lately. But they've obviously done enough to win games because, I mean, as we've mentioned before, when we play these sort of seemingly out of form or crisis club top 6 sides, is that they've got the individual quality who can just turn it on at the drop of a hat. Like, I mean, we discussed Bruno Fernandes has largely been a bit shit this season, quite frankly, but you know that he can do what he did yesterday. You know he's got the ability, and the problem is that, I mean, you kind of hope that him doing that yesterday doesn't suddenly spark a run of him sort of putting in player of the month worthy performances. But yeah, you never quite know what you're going to get from them. But you would think they're probably going to be slightly just about too strong. Even if they put in a kind of mediocre performance, we'd have to be kind of firing on all cylinders to get something. So I think it's going to be another fruitless trip, I think, and probably also scoreless. 2-0.
Going 2-0. Glenn, what about yourself?
I fancy us in this game for some reason. It's not.
Yeah, here we go.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not some sort of alcohol poisoning from yesterday. I didn't drink that much. I fancy Ruben Interim. I was going to call him. I hope he. I hope he doesn't have a great day. So I'm going to go for us actually producing something and winning 2-1.
Wow,
there you go.
2-1 win. I like it. I'm going to back you with that. I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory as well.
Oh, don't
Alfie,
copy me.
I'm going to copy you. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, Man United had their worst month on record. They lost 6 games last month, which for a club the size of Man United is actually incredible. But they've got a lot of practice of playing on Thursday nights now for the last sort of 10 years. And the Harry Maguire revolution is back. He is currently a key player for them again. And I'm all for that. That being said, yeah, I think Man United will be comfortable winners. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. But interesting, you mentioned Bruno Fernandes, and Glenn, you mentioned earlier about them sort of turning up when they want to. Bruno actually said after that Liverpool game, I wasn't worried about us performing against Liverpool. I'm going to be more worried about the Southampton game, which I thought was a nice little mention. But I bet he isn't, truthfully. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as a guy who tells the truth very often.